everybody. Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. I'm John Spalding from G1NBC Live, G1NBC Cuyahoga County. Bunch of other G1NBC Facebook pages out on the internet, but who cares about that? We're here for Season 2 of Recovery Unplugged Live with Amy McCorkle. How are you?
Well, it's a mixed bag, but it's really good. I have some updates.
Okay.
So Letters to Daniel has won its first award.
All right.
The award of recognition for disability issues at the Accolade Global Film Competition. And what makes it different is that it's not like a typical film festival. They score you on a stringent scoring scale like the Emmys or the regional Emmys or the Tellys. So you know that, and people like Ron Howard have won at this festival. So people who win at this festival typically in their careers go on to win the big awards.
Nice.
Like Oscars and Golden Globes. So that's a tribute to everybody's hard work on the film, both in front of the camera, behind the camera, and post-production. So
I did all of that. No, I didn't do any post-production. Sorry.
No, you weren't, but you did work like a beast behind the camera.
I did.
You were Harold Goodman.
I will work with Mark whenever he or you ask me to.
Mark's a genius.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy, so.
What else is new? How's your writing efforts? How's your advocacy efforts?
Okay, so that's good. I am writing a memoir I have been signed with Krista Keller Talent Management, and we have decided a memoir to package with the film when she takes it out to market to see if other studios want to remake it for a bigger budget. We're doing that. Recovery Unplugged, the TV talk show, which is it differs from this a little bit because it has a like a 4-segment setup, and it has 2 guests usually. I'm making a sizzle production, which means about 1.5 minute long version of the show. It's like a commercial for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that because we're going to take that out to market. The Guardian, the television series has a producer attached to it now. And The Guardian, my manager wanted me to do a psychological thriller version of it so she could shop it. I won't say to who because she says I can't say these things.
That's what happens when you get a manager. They start managing you.
But it's for a company that you would know. You wouldn't know the name of the company, but you would know the name of their films.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
And so that's where we're at with everything.
Okay. And we got Season 2 tonight of Recovery Unplugged.
Yay!
We got Ms. Gigi here. What's up, Ms. Gigi?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you?
I'm
we got
good.
a couple people watching, so you guys can say hello now in Facebook chat, and then I'll bring some of those in after the interview once we close out the show. So, Amy, tell them a little bit about Recovery Unplugged Live and what we're doing here, and kind of kick off the season.
So Recovery Unplugged Live is a web series, podcast, whatever. And what it does is it interviews people who are involved in the arts and other. I've expanded it as time has gone by. And it also, but the thrust of it is we talk about mental health, mental illness, and how that impacts their profession or their vocation in their personal lives as well. And we try to see what kind of coping mechanisms they use and and see what kind of advice they can give the audience and what their experience brings to the table.
Gotcha. Okay. And all of this really kind of stems from your first work, which is Letters to Daniel.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, a couple of things have come from Letters to
And it's
Daniel.
like,
And not just,
how can we take your advocacy efforts and like kind of your story of using the arts and creativity to not only overcome but just better advocate for yourself and for your own mental health and hear the stories of others and share those stories.
yes, and I want to mention another thing. I run a festival called Conquering Disabilities with Film International Film Festival. Opening submissions are opening any day now, and what that is that it seeks to serve the mentally ill artist who is healing themselves in part through the art, basically doing what I do and what a lot of other artists do every day. And it's a part of MegaFest, and the dates, I do have the dates for it. It's July 27th through the 29th, 2020.
Okay. More coming on that soon in future
Yes.
episodes. All right, so let's watch the most recent trailer of Letters to Daniel, the full
Yeah.
feature film, and then when we come back, you're going to interview Ms. Gigi, and I'm going to get out of your hair.
Okay.
All right, everyone, let's check out the trailer. Say hello down below on Facebook.
Dear Daniel Craig, life did not always look like this. This marked a moment of triumph, a way of crushing an abysmal past and daring those with a stereotypical view of those with mental illness to challenge me on any front. To many, this was just a documentary. For me and Missy, this was our life.
It's like my skin is coming off. And my thoughts, they're racing so fast. I can't keep up.
I'm suffering too, you know. You're not the only one.
It's like my mind is coming apart and I can't get it to come together.
I think it's more than just that. Amy's been having a really hard time lately. She goes on these crying jags. She explodes without warning. She's so angry and so paranoid these days. She's not the happy Amy that I remember from Kentucky.
She thinks you're manic depressive. I, however, do not. I think this is something you've been obsessing on. I believe that it's all in your head.
Library wing first. Come here. We're going to get you some help. I'll be okay. You do have a diagnosis. You have rapid cycling manic depression.
Dear Daniel Craig, bipolar disorder and those that saw it as contagious sought to pull me under, snap me in half, break me down. Even those well-intentioned do-gooders who see therapy and medication as bad and wrong, who see mentally ill individuals as hapless and hopeless, they're wrong. I found hope in your work. A comrade in Missy, my rock when no one else understood. You two are my twin lights when this disease threatened to take me down. And treatment was what got me through. Thank you, Daniel, for your talent and your work. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, Amy McCorkle.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Recovery Unplugged Live. Tonight we have a very special guest who is a creative film festival judge, psychic, and empath. She likes to say, I don't work for free because I value my gifts. So let's dive right in. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your creative side first?
Okay. Well, I always tell people when they ask me what I do, I always tell people media because I find that that encompasses everything. Um, I love to do, right now, I'm doing a podcast. We talk about all kinds of crazy subjects. Um, I love to do, so I obviously love radio, video, photo, but I really love designing websites. And I finally started like really embracing the fact that I'm a psychic and I have psychic gifts and I use them. And that's how I've been making a majority of my money. So I guess I'm in the psychic business now. Just body, you know?
Okay. You recently judged the Northeast Ohio Cult Film Festival. What was that like, and did you enjoy doing it?
I enjoy every film festival I'm a part of. I love that film festival. It was so amazing. The movies that these people can make, it'll be like 6 minutes long, and it's just this full length, just mind blowing experience. So yes, I enjoy it so much. It's amazing. I can't wait to do more. So fingers crossed, I get to judge again. So
You have been a fixture on the Ohio film scene for quite some time. Who are some of the people you've worked with, and what was it like to work with them?
I got a really good dose of Cleveland film when I did WOTN Cleveland. We interviewed so many people. I don't know, we were in like our third season. We had 25 episodes. We had so many guests on there. So I've worked with like all your people there. Like we've had Conrad, we've had Misha. I've worked with John. John's been on the show. He was on my bitching segment. It was awesome. Just so many people. I can't even list them all, but you know, the ones that are like moving and shaking, chances are we've worked together. So it was an amazing experience. And I look forward to interviewing more artists. I love that.
Okay. You are also a psychic and empath. Explain what it is you do to our audience.
Okay, so what it is that I do. Okay, so I was born with the psychic gift. I got it from my grandma. She got it from her grandma. It's just in our family. Claircognizance and clairsentience. That means I just know things and I just feel things. My mom really didn't know how to deal with it. I was always a creepy little kid. I would tell her before we had caller ID, because I'm that old. Um, I would tell her who was calling. I would tell her if I didn't like people. It turns out they were just bad people. They did bad things. So she knew I had a gift. When I was about 14, she got me my first deck of tarot cards. Ever since then, I've expanded. I work with tarot. I work with crystals, tea leaves, all kinds of things. I also know about numerology and astrology, all that like interesting occult stuff. I can't get enough of it. But in the last few years, I've really started like pushing my gift and just going out there and being amongst like strangers, reading for people online. I just got done with the reading before I talked to you guys. So it's been an absolutely amazing experience. I'm super humbled and I love it. And I help so many people. So that's why I do it. So I love it.
Okay. I've had you read my cards. I usually find myself doing it when I'm anxious or feel out of control about something. I find reads with you fun. I find it takes the edge off. What do you get personally out of reading the tarot for individuals?
What do I get out of it? Okay, so I get out of it so number one, knowing that my psychic gift is right. When I talk to you and you tell me, hey, in the past you predicted this and it came true, it just reaffirms for me and I guess helps my anxiety, because I never know if I'm reading right. And I always want to make sure that whatever message we're talking about is really accurate and it's just that it's correct, so that helps my anxiety. First off, let's start there. And then from there, just knowing that I help people. I talk to a lot of people who are grieving. I talk to a lot of people who have been experiencing things that they can't explain, or people who feel like I feel, where nobody understands them because maybe people in the past have told them that they're crazy. Not saying that my bipolar label does not apply, but some people have been told, you're crazy and you may be experiencing some things and it's not up to anyone to judge. So I just like to be here for those people who may really be experiencing things that they can't explain. Somebody's got to be there to listen, right?
Right. I'm going to pivot just a bit and talk. You touched on it there and talk about mental illness and mental health in general. I suppose the first thing I would be curious to know is, how has mental illness touched your life, either as someone with the illness or as a caregiver?
Okay, so a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was diagnosed as bipolar when I was 14. I was in 8th grade. I didn't even make it to high school before I was diagnosed. And I went in the hospital. And when I came out, my mom had told a few of my friends. And when I went back to school, I was never going to lie about who I was. So when I got back, everybody knew, and they all were telling me that I was crazy. And everybody just had this, never really had an experience with, mental illness, because we're still young at that point. And I just, it made me realize just the stigmas that they put on people and the things that they think that I can't do. And that the things that they didn't know, like one kid actually thought I was retarded. And I'm like, dude, I've known you since we were like in kindergarten, like just having a difficult time, man, So it was just the things that people didn't know about it. So I've kind of always been a champion for it. And I find that even though, I might have the label, I feel like I can show you who I am better than I can say I'm just bipolar. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you're not your label.
Yeah, I'm not my label for sure. And I feel like another thing is, like, after I had that experience, I lost a lot of people. I didn't have anybody that I could talk to that understood not only the bipolar part, but the fact that I just know when I feel these things that come true. So I didn't have anybody that really understood that. So now I really kind of I guess I want to be what I never had. So that's really what I'm focusing on now, is how can I, maybe there's younger women who are maybe 14, like I was, who are experiencing things. And yes, you may need to see a doctor and see a psychiatrist and take care of your treatment plan and do all that. But at the same time, let's explore and see if you do have other things you need to talk about. You may be experiencing other things, and I just want to listen, and just be there for people, because it's not easy. Even like when you first tell people you're bipolar, it's almost like a coming straight out. You're telling people like, hey, this is a deep part of me that I got to share with you. It's the same thing with being psychic. Like, I just experienced it a couple years ago, where I finally started telling people, like, I'm a professional psychic. This is what I do. This is how I make my money. And a lot of people have shunned me for it. So it's very similar experience, being forthright with my bipolar disorder, as well as telling people that I'm a psychic. It was just the same experience. So it just kind of reaffirmed for me to just keep being strong and just keep going. So it's the same thing, just different views, I guess.
Okay. How has that impacted the way you approach your psychic or empathic abilities?
Okay, so I've gone through therapy like we all have. And one of the things that I've really learned is to really pause and really think about the things that I want to say, because I don't want I guess I have to say it this way, I don't want my irrational thoughts to be projected onto a reading. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I'm thinking, anxieties that I'm having, I don't want to put that on other people. So, sometimes I'll have to stop in the middle of a reading and say, okay, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to reshuffle and I'm going to refocus on what's going on with you, because maybe I have my own issues. Or a lot of times I just won't read that day because I just can't deal with other people's problems that day. We all need a mental health day. So it is what it is. But I feel like that's a correlation between the two, I guess.
Okay. Science has moved on the needle a bit where it comes to the belief in empaths as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it gaining acceptance more recently? If so, how so? If not, why do you think that is?
I feel like it's more accepted because more people know about it. I feel like the people that are like me, that can feel other people's problems and their pain and just know things, we're speaking up about it. And there are so many of us that we're at, like, in my mind, excuse me, I was almost got a hiccup. In my mind, we're at critical mass. And I feel like there's so many of us talking about it that they can't possibly deny it. The only thing that they can do at this point is study, document, and move forward.
Okay. And Mental illness is something everyone is touched by in their lifetime, either by experiencing it or knowing someone who had, who is mentally ill. How do you manage that equation?
I have a really interesting experience as far as the correlation between family members. My mom is also bipolar, and there were times in my life that I didn't. Okay, so when I finally moved out on my own, I was an adult. I sat down about a year and a half later after moving out, and I said, to my boyfriend, I said, "I'm not sad all the time. Like I'm not depressed all the time." And I really realized that I was finally feeling my own emotions without feeling somebody else. And my mom is very close to me. And when I had a conversation with her, which was recently, because you don't want to make your mom upset. So I had a conversation with her and she felt that. And I explained to her, like, I understand, we all have feelings, we all have depression and stuff. But it just took me a while of being on my normal, so I can realize that what I'm feeling is not. It helped me realize what's empath and what's my feelings and what's other people's feelings.
Okay.
Point blank. Boil it down to that, pretty much.
Okay. How does your empath abilities impact your mental health?
Okay, so best way to explain it is sometimes I am overwhelmed with emotion, and I don't know where it comes from. And I've recently started reaching out to people and saying, hey, like, I'm really struggling right now. Is the people closest to me is who I reach out to. And I say, hey, man, this is really affecting me. Like, are you feeling anything? Like, I'm really affected right now. Like, I just can't stop. And a lot of times it's the people closest to me. Like, I had my one friend's aunt passed away, and I was feeling that. I mean, I've been around a lot of people that are connected to me. And I feel like once I read people, we have a connection. And if I just genuinely love you, I just know things. And so when I'm sad, I've started letting people know if it is it mine or not. And the way that I know, I guess with my empath abilities, is once I realize, is this your emotion? Like, is this something you're really feeling? And I realize that it's not what I'm feeling and it's maybe somebody else. And I start trying to figure out whose it is. And then I'm not sad about it, I guess, if that makes sense. And if it's mine, I'm just going to keep crying about it. There's no way to stop that.
So, okay. Okay. Now let's have some fun. Okay. If your life were a movie, what would its title be?
I'm crazy, but I'm cute.
If you were to cast anyone in the whole world to play you in this movie, who would it be?
Oh, to play me? Oh, man. I want to say some awesome indie actress, but I don't know. I don't even know. I really don't. I mean, I wouldn't even know. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know. I can tell you a few people that I wanted to be in the movie with me, like Johnny Depp. I would be cool with that. Who would play me? Like, I have no idea. Whatever.
Okay. Where are we at? What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, all time. Okay. It goes back to when I was a little girl, The Princess Bride.
Oh, I love that movie.
When I filmed WOTN, we did a Comic-Con down in Cincinnati, and Carrie was supposed to be there. That's who plays the Man in Black, and the Dread Pirate Roberts, Wesley, and he was supposed to be down there, and he canceled last minute. But Sean Wallace, the guy.
Oh, I know. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, the guy who does a T-Rex voice. He's just like iconic. We interviewed him, and it was just like I saw all the costumes, and that just did it for me. So that's my favorite movie, hands down.
Okay. Who do you look up to when working on projects you are passionate about, or when the things that make you feel most comfortable? What are the things that make you feel most comfortable in your own skin?
Okay, so as far as looking up to people, if I would probably be local people. Like I always like to see what Conrad and the boys are doing. They're always doing amazing stuff. Like my Facebook feed is inspirational as hell. Okay, I have over 200 and something friends in the film or media community. So I can literally just scroll through and just see my friends that are radio DJs and TV personalities. And sometimes it makes me depressed, yes, when I'm not doing anything. But sometimes it's a real good pick-me-up. So that would definitely, that's that answer. But the comfortable in my own skin, it's a radical way of thinking about things. But like I used to wear makeup a lot when I was a kid and I had really bad skin. And I quit wearing makeup more as I became an adult. And I realized after a few years that it wasn't necessarily the fact that I didn't want to wear it. Well, first off, my skin looked better. But second of all, I realized it was like a radical form of self-love because I'm going to walk by that mirror and every day I'm going to look at my natural face and I'm going to say, damn, girl, you look good. And after I did that for a few years, I feel like it just sucked in. And now it's like when I go to put on makeup or whatever, I just feel amazingly beautiful because I'm already hot as I normally am. So yeah, that's how I definitely get comfortable, I should say.
Okay, and finally, what advice do you have for others like you in an industry where there are lots of 1-800 numbers ready and willing to take your money?
I guess really connecting with people. I have to talk to people. I feel like it's my mission. I feel that every time I've ever really met somebody, they've always liked me. We've always connected. There's only been a very few people in the world who don't like me. I feel like I'm here to just give people messages. And if there's anybody who, for whatever reason, is struggling and they want to, talk about, their psychic gifts that they're experiencing, or maybe they've experiencing, like I've had people reach out to me about hauntings, all kinds of stuff. If I can't do it, I know 100 people. I know lots of priests and stuff. So if you have any issues, we can sort the supernatural shit out. And then, if you need a therapist, I'll take it to Coleman. It's good. We're all family there. I mean, 11-bit, we're awesome. You might be on lockdown, but I'll still love you, man.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you, John. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Where did your infatuation with Cedar Point begin?
Okay, so when I was a kid, we used to go to Jogga Lake, and
Jogga Lake.
Yeah, my best friend growing up was a triplet, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you caught it, but my best friend growing up was a triplet. So there was like 6 kids of them, right, and like 10 other kids. We'd shove all in this van, and we would go, and we would just have a blast. All the kids would dress alike and shit, and we would just have fun. And then I fast forward to being an adult. I was like 20 or 21 and I got with my boyfriend and we went to Cedar Point and we loved it so much we started getting passes every year. And I don't understand why people don't. Like, i.e., go get a damn gold pass. It's $8 a month.
So many people got that gold pass this year that they couldn't get in on Halloween weekends.
Yeah, I know. They shut it down. They had to shut down the park for people to come in. But the thing is, I get a platinum pass, not trying to be bougie, but I get a platinum pass. I pay like $40 a month, 6 months out of the year. It totally works. And I've gone to Carolina. We went to Carowinds, which is dope. Awesome. Wow.
So you can get into other Cedar Fair resorts, other Cedar Fair parks.
That's why I get a platinum pass, because it's just a reason for us to travel. Like, where we pay $40 a month and we get to go unlimited, free parking, all kinds of discounts. It's really like, if you think, we don't have any kids, so this is probably just like my little bougie attitude. But if you really think about it, it's like the cheapest date night you're gonna get. You're gonna be like, hey babe, like I'm taking my girl out Friday night. We're going to the amusement park, and people are looking at you like, you take this on a Friday night? Like, what?
Right.
Yeah. So it just looks
for a couple hours. Do you remember the Rotor Man from Jogga Lake?
Oh yeah, where it was spinning around the floor, drop out.
Yeah, and
I always loved that.
That guy would stay on there for like 7 hours.
Yeah, and there's always some like daring kid who's trying to like, like move up slowly. I'm like, man, you guys are crazy.
There used to be this roller coaster there called the Big Dipper, and I'm big. I've always been big.
Oh yeah,
and even in middle school, I was big. So my aunt would always choose to sit with me, because the lap bar would only come down so far, and on the Big Dipper, she would like just jump out, but the lap bar would catch her. So she always made me ride with her so that she could fly on the Big Dipper.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's a good pastime.
No, I learned a lot. I didn't have any idea that you had that diagnosis as well. Did you ever go back to your mom and be like, Mom, why did you have to tell My friends, what are you doing?
So I had a really good friend that was calling her, like, where's Gina? Why is she in the hospital? Like,
Oh, okay. And she didn't know and was just...
I was in there for 14 days. So she
Right.
either had to tell them, like, she had, like, some sort of life-threatening condition, or she had to tell them something.
Yeah.
And she kept calling my mom and kept being like, could you at least tell me, like, is she going to die? Whatever. And my mom loved her so much. Like, I don't fault her at all for telling her. I guess just the way that it got back to everybody, and we're like 14, you know what I mean? But I guess for me, it just made me super strong right then, because I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to lie about who I am. I'm not going to feel bad about it. You're not going to make me feel bad about it. So what? Every Tuesday at 2, I'm going to leave, because that's exactly what I would do. Every Tuesday at 2, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to my therapist. I'm going to talk to all y'all out in therapy. He's going to tell me how to deal with it. I might need a boost in one med, and then I'm going to go about my day. But you know what I mean? It's different now, though, because I feel like as an adult, I have better coping skills. I'm more in control of my life and the direction of my life. So I feel like that is a lot of my difference. Plus, I know more now about my gifts. So an unexplained anger for me, what would be like an outburst might just be me reacting to a situation that I don't yet know about. So I just think about it differently. I still freak out sometimes, but hey, at least I'm like, no, let me calm down if I have a panic attack, try to be more aware, that sort of thing.
For sure. Nice. I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's good. Is that all?
Wrapping it up.
Uh-oh.
Wrapping it.
Amy, if you don't do a solid close, we're gonna have to do that uncomfortable close where I have to knock off my headset again and make you laugh.
Okay. Well, everybody, that was the first night of Recovery Unplugged. Next week we have Anna Maria Engels, who played my mom in the Letters to Daniel movie, and she was a boss she was next to John, the hardest worker on the set, next to Mark.
So third. So she was third hardest worker on the set.
But it's like, right, but you all busted your ass. Because we had some individuals who...
This is when we tell them, see them next week.
See you next week.
Bye, Miss Gigi. Thanks for coming on.
Bye. Thanks, John. Thanks, Amy.
All right, everyone. This is Recovery Unplugged Live. We will see you next week. Send us your feedback and join us next week.